Great. So let's start. You see, the title of this workshop is Reversing Climate Change the Fun Way. So you might ask what the fun way is, and I will tell you about that in a couple of minutes. Before we start, fundraising, which is the method that I devised in order to reverse climate change the fun way, is designed for individuals who want to contribute to reversing climate change. Sorry, I got to move some faces. So, but, and a very important but is that to reverse climate change, we need systemic changes above all, okay? At the same time, we have most power over our own actions, our own behavior, and not the system as such. And we can achieve a lot as individuals too, but, and I can't stress this enough, we need systemic changes. But you should do good and talk about it so other people get inspired by your actions. Okay. What's my plan with you today? I want to tell you a little story of why and how fundraising was created, and which problems with other types of helping it solves, in my opinion, how fundraising works, like what is the method actually, and my experiences with fundraising so far, so you can see like how can a journey look like with this method, and then the most important part, which is your own ideas and maybe your future projects, your future fundraising projects. Yeah, and in the end, just one slide about the future of fundraising. Cool. As I said earlier, but before the recording, originally this workshop should have been 90 minutes, but because of schedule issues, we reduced it to 1 hour. So I'll try to be as quick and efficient as possible while still keeping it fun, obviously. And one more very important thing, always feel free to ask questions. I'm curious about your thoughts, and I'm looking forward to our discussions. You can post them in the chat, or the two of you can just yell out. Yes. So why and how was fundraising created? Actually, the spark that ignited my journey towards fundraising was at Versailles. You can see the splendor and the many people admiring and photographing this sort of abundance. And it was there where I was listening to a podcast by Jack Kornfield. It's a great podcast. I can highly recommend it. It's called Heart Wisdom Hour. It's about all sorts of things, about wisdom and love. But this episode was about reversing climate change. And it really inspired me, probably especially because I had this contrast with the really unnecessary splendor of Versailles. And I found, okay, people seem to value the wrong things, like golden stuff and power and a legacy. And people apparently also admire the wrong persons, like Napoleon or Louis XIV. So yeah, they're taking selfies in front of those statues, and I think instead they should take selfies in front of nice forests and Greta Thunberg. So yeah, this definitely sparked the need in me to do something, like get active. Like this whole climate change thing can't go on like it has, at least for me personally. So yeah, to get from this to this, you know, beautiful, healthy nature. Yeah, and of course it looks different in every part of the planet, healthy nature, but this is sort of close to home. Okay, so after Versailles, I had 3 major options that I saw, and this part is about which problems I saw with those options for me personally, and how I think fundraising solves those specific problems. So I could find a job in sustainability, like that was the first idea I had, you know, dedicate my life to it. It turned out to be pretty difficult. I didn't find anything, and I asked people and said, yeah, you're a psychologist, we don't really need those too much. And yeah, with a PhD in motivation, that's like, yeah, if you want to do research, I guess, but I wanted to do something more like efficient, effective right now, like plant a tree or something, or a million. And it would also be pretty inefficient because I'm a psychologist, as I said, and not an environmental engineer or something. Yeah, so my talents wouldn't be used in the ideal way. And it would also be a pretty big commitment. Like what is with my other interests and needs? Yeah, so this path turned out of like half a year. I said, okay, this isn't the way to go. Okay, then should I plant trees in Africa like it has been done in Ethiopia, where they planted millions of trees in a really ridiculously short amount of time, or do comparable groundwork where it's needed? And well, I found this to be too costly. You know, I'm a psychologist and I'd break my back for one because I'm a nerd and I work in an office. And also like the CO2 being pumped in the atmosphere to get to Africa or any other tropical country to do some groundwork would kind of defeat the purpose for me. And also like, why take jobs from locals? You know, people there kind of, yeah, they can do the work just fine and they're probably, you know, happy doing the work and being paid for it with a fair salary. So yeah, I didn't want to damage local economies. Okay, should I just simply donate to good causes? Is like that the solution? Well, actually, kind of. Like it is one of my favorite, it's the favorite of the three at least. But then again, you know, how much money do I have? I am personally a little bit stingy, so it kind of hurts to just pay hundreds and thousands of francs to other organizations. And it's like, you know, what will those donations actually move? This is kind of intangible. I want to also do something with people. So that's where fundraising comes in. Funds are being raised with fundraising, but you're also, and most of all, are having fun with other people. So that's the main point. Okay. So actually there's a pretty long list of how my solution would have to be for me to be ideal. So it should let me keep my job, use my talents and interests, let me be my own boss, let me invest as much or little time and effort as I want, be adaptable to my changing life circumstances, be affordable and minimize hidden costs, for example, like a flight to Africa, be implementable wherever I am, so I can take the work with me, respect local economies, make my contributions tangible and concrete. And I solved this with fundraising, but also in a different way. I will show you later. And ideally go beyond these points, like even motivate me in the long term, be fun, connect me with others, and so on. It's a pretty long shopping list, right? And obviously my solution is fundraising. So I'm hyping it up pretty much. But yeah, the question is like, how does it work? Like, what is the super wonder method? And actually it's like nothing super revolutionary. It's just, for me, the right combination of things that already exist. So how fundraising works in a nutshell, and this is a quote from the first blog post that I wrote about this idea. I think fittingly titled "The Best Idea I've Ever Had." Doesn't mean it's the best idea ever had, but the best idea I personally ever had. So in a nutshell, fundraising works like this. You help somebody else by doing something you enjoy, and instead of paying you, they donate to a charity of your choice. Okay, so you say where the money goes, they pay the money, and you don't just do anything, but you do something you enjoy, something you're good at, something you actually like doing for people. Okay. I posted the link to the complete blog post on the bottom of the slides. I don't know, probably there will be a Drive folder on the NHWZ website with the slides, maybe. I'll try to post them somehow. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I will post them on my blog. So maybe you can get them there. I haven't thought this part through yet, sorry. Okay, some concrete examples because that makes it more tangible. So you could give a guitar lesson for a donation of $30 to Sea Shepherd. So, you know, before you give the guitar lesson, you talk to the person and say, hey, look, I love giving guitar lessons. You want to learn the guitar. I could do it for free, but why not make this even bigger and nicer and make more of it? And yeah, clean up seas with a donation of 30 francs. Or help somebody with their taxes for $60 to Plan International. That's an NGO that helps girls getting educated and being sexually self-determined. So I haven't checked out this charity in detail, but it sounds pretty good on, you know, on the surface. And actually educating women and giving them like self-determination over their bodies is one of the top 10 things you can do in sustainability to actually reverse climate change. It's quite counterintuitive, but the research is there. Yeah. If you want to read up on that, go to projectdrawdown.org. They explain it. So yeah, you could also photograph a wedding for like $700 to Project Drawdown, this website that researches these kind of top 100 things you can do to reverse climate change. And you don't just want to fight climate change or nullify it, but reverse it. Yeah. And in my case, I gave psychological counseling for $110 to $170 to the Coalition of Rainforest Nations. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. This is one of the most effective reforestation and just forest protection NGOs in the world. Yeah. And by the way, photographing a wedding for $700 in Switzerland is very, very cheap. You could even go 1,000, 1,500 depending on your portfolio. So this is the kind of money you can raise in a day. Yeah. Okay. So what I also want to point out is that in general, fundraising projects are just a great alternative to doing work for free or for working for your portfolio or working for your CV. Because, especially in the creative industries, people will say, hey, you enjoy doing this and it's great for your portfolio. Please do this project for free. So yeah, in the future, if you want to, you can just tell them, hey, why don't you donate? Let's make this a win-win-win situation. Yeah. So, sorry, sometimes I have to mute people or let them in from the waiting room. Okay. So, how fundraising works is it's basically a combination of pro bono work, volunteer work, donating, fundraising with the D, and simply doing something fun without the D. It's different from each of these approaches in that it combines the pros, I think, while avoiding their cons. So you can do it with any activity. As I just mentioned 3 or 4, but you could do it with literally anything, which is also highly inclusive. And I think every person, really every single person has something to offer. So every person can do fundraising. Because you chose the activity based on your enjoyment, you're also going to be reasonably good at it, feel competent while doing the activity, and be motivated for a long time. So that's the motivational psychologist in me speaking. So the research also points to that. That's why I have this emphasis on enjoyment. I actually did my PhD on enjoyment, and this is what keeps you going. If you think about reversing climate change with, oh, I have all this money that I donate or all this effort and these sacrifices and stuff like that, it's kind of a bummer, but it's like, hey, I love whatever, teaching football or teaching sign language or whatever. And I could also raise a couple of bucks for a good charity. Yeah, which is kind of just like a side effect. Yeah, your work is being valued in concrete figures. It's not just like, hey, I appreciate you doing this for free. And unlike with a donation, you don't spend any money. So for you, fundraising is free, but you inspire others to donate, make them think about, hey, which charity would I actually like to donate to? Like, maybe I will have a fundraising project and let other people donate to my charity. So yeah, and you don't need any payment infrastructure. So it's not like, okay, I want to get into that kind of business, but first I need my website and my payment infrastructure and for the taxes, etc. But you could actually gain first experiences in any field and just let people donate. No problem with taxes, no problem with payment infrastructure. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, in my opinion, fundraising does do all these things. Okay, but I've seen that there's a question in the chat. Okay, fantastic. So there's actually the first, how do you say, offer or the first little marketing campaign for a fundraising project. I'll just read it. So Sophia said, if anybody knows somebody who would like me to take care of their pets for the money they donate to World Food Program, or donations for countries that are in war, let me know. Fantastic comment. Thank you so much. This is the spirit. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Sophia. Okay. Before I start with my journey, are there any questions so far from your side or in the online lobby? You can also just unmute yourself and blurt out your question. There's another one in the chat, not so far. Thanks.
Are you happy with us being in incognito mode, or you want to see?
Actually, I don't see anybody, so you can choose your own preference. Thanks.
All right. I don't want to show my face as the only one, so I'll wait.
Yeah.
Maybe later.
It's also after 8 p.m. We're probably all in our pajamas, so let's go. Cool. Let's start with my experiences of fundraising. So here you see the flyer that got me started. So I just designed this flyer. It took like 10 minutes or so. And I posted it on Facebook and on my blog. And it says basically, hey, you want to get out of a crisis quicker, etc. I offer flexible session planning, prices that fit your budget, competent psychological and spiritual assistance, and 100% of proceeds go toward projects to protect the climate. So that's how I phrased it. Yeah. So people can just write an email. I had like 2 or 3 people writing me right away. And then a few later, like when I reposted it, I got a few more. And they just recommended me to their friends and they're to their friends. And so at some point I was doing counseling with friends of friends of friends. So that was cool. And yeah, they often told me that without the fundraising angle, they would probably not have spent that kind of money on counseling or just wouldn't have gotten started. It's like, yeah, I can do that someday, whatever. It's not like my problem isn't bad enough that I need counseling. And here it's like, hey, I wanted to donate to anything good anyways. Let's go. Yeah. And actually a few started their own projects. Like one is drawing portraits. For like $50 to, I think, and that's not with sustainability. You can actually, donate to any charity. Her donations go to anti-bullying, so that's fine too. As is for me, I think sustainability is my favorite cause to support. Yeah, and overall, this was a super enjoyable journey, and I still have to do it. The last time I did a session was in January, because in February I started a new job that is quite demanding. And once I settle in there, 2 or 3 months, I might start doing more counseling for fundraising. So that's also the nice flexibility that you have. Yeah, and I already mentioned that I'm a nerd, and I like to visualize my fundraising journey. I love data, I love graphs. And so this even adds to the fun. Let's see if you also enjoy this kind of thing. So this is a pie chart of where the money went, like where did people donate to? And actually for me, my main thing is the Coalition for Rainforest Nations. Like I'm an effective altruist, which means I want to get the most bang for the buck. And the Coalition for Rainforest is like #1 by far. So when it comes to saving rainforests, it's like one calculation said that it's 12 cents of donation for each ton of CO2 that they save, which is just ridiculous. Other ones are like $1, $2. So this is super efficient. It's ridiculous. But because they go systemic, they work with governments and they make them transform rainforests into national parks, so they shouldn't be burned. Yeah. Then also 600 went to the Gletscherinitiative here in Switzerland, because I think we need to be pioneers in this and show that it can be done, even though it moves a bit slower in our politics than I would love it to be. And then one of my friends is really a big fan of scuba diving and like underwater nature. And so we said, okay, she'll donate to Team Seas and Sea Shepherd, and after that to the Coalition of Rainforest Nations. Yeah. And now this graph shows sort of my timeline, and it's how many average Swiss lifetimes of CO2, like the people I worked with and I saved. So you see, I started really slow with like 1 or 2 clients in 2020. And then for half a year, nothing happened, or at least I didn't let people donate to the Coalition of Rainforest Nations. And then starting in summer 2021, things really took off. And then in autumn, a little bit less. And then again in November, December, I had, I think, 2 clients at the same time, both with quite regular sessions. And so, yeah, we raised a lot of fun and funds. Yeah, and I mean, this is based on these 12 cents per ton. And then it's easy to calculate. And to me, this is super motivating. Like every single counseling session is probably like 1 or 2 lifetimes of CO2. And if you also market it like this, if you calculate your efficiency to your clients, they will be like, wow, okay, let's go. I will, just add $20. Why not? It's actually one of my clients just, rounded up from 150 to 170, like without me even asking her. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Tian, for saying that this workshop is inspiring. I appreciate it. So yeah. And I can only recommend this as a motivational psychologist. Tracking your progress is a very motivating thing, but I think it's not even necessary. Okay. And an honorable mention, actually the fundraising pioneer. So actually my best friend pointed out to me a couple of months later after I wrote my blog post that there has been a guy, Phil Heckles, a 38-year-old guy from the UK, who has been painting pet portraits for around $400 each. And he donates all the proceeds to a homelessness charity. So he has been practicing fundraising just without calling it that. And I will just mute a person. Or they muted themselves. Cool, thank you. Yeah, and this person has raised $15,000. I think, meanwhile, it's like $30,000. So he's quite the legend. And yeah, I just sort of invented it at the same time or 2 years later independently and, gave it a name. But he's the real deal. And actually, that's my goal. Like raising 15,000, 30,000, that would be awesome. That would be like hundreds and maybe even 1,000 lifetimes of CO2. Okay, and here's the link to the CNN article about him. And actually, I just want to show you a picture. I didn't want to post it in my slides because of license stuff, but this is how it looks. And I mean, he's pretty bad, but in a good way. Like he's consistently, hilariously bad. The shortest length ever. Yeah, what a legend. Oh my God, how am I gonna? This is gonna be, yeah. So this is the proof I'm actually at ETH and not at my living room or something. So another question in the chat. I need to draw a little up. Okay. Yep. I will let you know. The NHWZ has a YouTube channel, and I think this video will be posted there. So you can also share it with anybody. It's in English, and most people speak English. Good, for better or for worse. Another question in the chat. Do you have the plan, vision, and the personal power time to scale this? That's a fantastic question. And the person I actually expected it from Jonathan. So yeah, actually that's gonna be in the future of fundraising. Yeah, I don't quite have the personal power, but that's what helpers are for. And I don't own the idea. Anybody can just make it big. So please go ahead and make it big. It's like I don't care who gets the credit. Another thing in the chat. Volunteered. Okay, let's go. Jonathan, I will take you up on your word. So, what time is it? It's past. So I actually spent 10 minutes more than I planned on talking. And now to the heart of the workshop, the actual workshop part. So think about your own. Hello, welcome. Join us. You come at the perfect time. So we're just starting with the workshop part, and I will explain to you later what fundraising is. But yeah, so I think getting started with a project is best done in 3 steps. Like first, choose your fun activity. What do you enjoy doing? Then choose the charity that the donations should go to, and then prepare your little marketing strategy, like basically a flyer or text or video, whichever you like. Yeah. Cool. We just got 2 additions to the workshop, so I'm gonna quickly show you the slide again from what fundraising is. And fundraising is at the core of this workshop. This is the method that I think can reverse climate change the fun way. So in a nutshell, it works like that. You help somebody else, they have a problem, you have the solution, and your solution should be something that you enjoy doing, you know, and then instead of paying you, they donate to a charity of your choice, not of their choice. And yeah, for example, give a guitar lesson for 30 bucks and the people donate to Sea Shepherd because you find Sea Shepherd awesome. That's the basic idea. And do you feel like you can start workshopping with us? Cool, fantastic. Okay. Okay. Smart. Smart. I like the commitment. Okay, let's start with step 1. Choose your fun activity. And this step you do alone, please. Like brainstorm just for 3 or 4 minutes. What do I enjoy doing? And actually, this is also fun. You know, ask 5 people who know you what they think you're good at, what you might enjoy. And that's actually like a nice shower of praise. You're really good at this. You should do that. You could contribute to the world with that. And it's like, oh, you're so right. So that's another thing you can do. But for now, brainstorm on your own and don't judge the activities or rank them in any form. Just like write down anything that comes to mind. We will select later. And yeah, how about something from any of these areas? Movement, teaching, entrepreneurship, health, performance, anything. Okay, so please take your 3 to 4 minutes. Awesome. So another comment in the chat, same here, like volunteered for the marketplace of fundraising. We need a platform for this. Yeah, I'll get to that later, but I love the enthusiasm. If you need pen and paper, I got some here. Do you want pen or paper, or do you prefer the phone? Yeah. Okay, cool. If the people in this room are done, let me know. Yeah, and also see in the chat, because maybe it doesn't even take 3 to 4 minutes, who knows. It's important to stay hydrated. Yeah, fans of Modest Pelican will understand the hydration inside joke. Does anybody know Modest Pelican? No. It's worth checking out. Yes, it's because nobody likes an arrogant pelican. Michelle does. Michelle knows Modest Pelican because I harassed her with it multiple times. She's my girlfriend. Yeah. Yeah. She's even more awesome than the British guy, even though she did raise $15,000. So, I don't know, has it been 3 minutes? I didn't look at the watch. More or less, yeah. Okay, and I mean, the good thing is there's this thing called the Zeigarnik effect. It's a psychological effect. If you don't finish something, you have a bigger urge to continue doing it. So after the workshop, you'll all go ahead and brainstorm your fun activities. It's all a plan. Okay, so step 2. Now, please work in pairs, and you sit perfectly for that. And the people in the Zoom chat, I will put you in breakout rooms. And I know some people are just listening to this as a podcast, so I know who those people are, and I won't pair you with anybody else because you don't speak. Yeah, and please work in pairs. Choose one activity that you feel most like doing, or maybe 2 activities if you can't decide. And, you know, see which one is the most fun to you. Where do you feel you're the most competent? Where do you think there's also demand? Which could motivate you in the long term? And what could also be the contribution to your community? Like, what do you want to contribute? Because that's also a big source of purpose. And purpose is also fun and motivating. And think about how long and how often you would like to offer that activity. For example, 1 hour, twice per month, or what would you feel comfortable with? Yeah, please take 5 minutes for each partner to discuss and yeah, see what you come up with. So let me see. Yeah. Actually, I know there's one couple, like the couple that is in the, you know, in the online lobby can just stay as the couple and talk with the 2 of them. And the other ones I will combine. Yeah, okay. So Tom is a listener and Simone is a listener. Cool. So let me just figure this out. Breakout sessions. So, wait. Okay, so manually doing this doesn't work. Oh. So let me see what happens. Hi. So actually, we only have 3 people online that are not like just listening or are doing this as a couple. So I would say the 3 of you can work as a pair. And yeah, I think this is not being recorded. This is not part of recording, so feel free to share whatever.
But it says it's recording.
Yeah?
Yes.
Up there. So I'll stop it now.
How you like.
Yes. Okay. We're recording again. We had this breakout session for step 1, part 2, sort of. And now to step 1, part 3. So again, in pairs, and I'll put you back again in the breakout session. Discuss discuss, please, what your minimum donation amount would be per unit of service. For example, 1 guitar lesson. And what would be your dream amount? Like, what's your goal? You might want to start a little bit lower and then work towards your goal. Actually, my goal was 120 bucks, and that was easily achieved. I was very surprised how generous people are if it's for a good cause. Maybe they're also generous in other areas. Okay, so please take like around 2 minutes per partner. So that's roughly 4 minutes each. So sorry, you guys, in the triple breakout session. And here's some guidelines for average amounts, because I get this asked a lot, like what is reasonable? And this is for Switzerland. So like 20 francs for unskilled labor and 60 if you have a MSc or MA, etc. So maybe take a screenshot of this so that you can see it in your breakout session. And yeah, the rest here in the room will keep seeing this slide. Cool. Okay. So nice idea, Aaron. Everybody agrees. Cool. I'll put you back in the breakout session, and then you have 4 minutes. The chat. Cool. So yes, here, step 2, I would say we don't go into the breakout sessions or into the pairs. We just do the first part that I have on my slides here. Namely, does anybody know or have recommendations for cool and or trusted charities, or how to know if a charity is trustable? Because you don't want to raise all that money for an NGO that doesn't deserve it. What are websites for researching charities? And here's some recommendations from me: Effective Altruism, Project Drawdown, and Charity Navigator. Maybe somebody knows a better alternative to Charity Navigator. It was just the one that I, came across. Yeah. So yeah, in the chat or in the voice chat or in the room, if you have any recommendations, what charities do you like, support, have heard of that are good as inspiration? Or even just which area of sustainability?
For climate change together, right?
Yeah. Anything with sustainability. But as I said before, something like giving girls education and self-determination over their bodies is also very helpful and effective for sustainability, for reversing climate change. Okay, so apparently there are no recommendations, but that's something that you can research very well on your own. So Dunya is asking, is there any charity which supports local workplaces with sustainable effect for the environment and fair payment? Good question, I don't know that. So maybe in other events at the Nachhaltigkeitswoche Zürich, they have the answers to these kind of questions. Yeah.
My intent would be maybe to look more into local charity work or projects, because maybe there's also maybe I would see the effect going through my city, which at the moment is Aachen in Germany, and maybe see something they do and have the feeling that I contributed to it. It's a bit more obvious than like the big charity organizations, but I think it's very individually different.
Yeah, I just repeat for the room because my audio isn't super loud. So Aaron recommended, or one option is if you want to support local NGOs or charities, then you can also sort of, it's more tangible where the money goes, what happens with that kind of money. It's for your own city, for example. So that can be a great solution. And also effective altruism, like they like to support really unknown small charities that aren't founded in the countries themselves where they operate. And that's usually way cheaper because you don't have like offices in the US where, you know, marketing heads earn like 200,000 a year. So that's one way to keep it efficient. And also usually people, local people know best what local people need. That's what's my reading of development so far. Okay. So, you know, if you want to, and I hope you do, you can research this more, like what's the kind of area that you wanna invest in basically. And yeah, do you know charities or which ones are good? I think these 3 resources for you could help you with that. Okay. So the last step is prepare your marketing strategy. And here again, we don't go into the breakout sessions or in pairs, just like maybe take a minute to think about, yeah, who would be your target audience? Is it, I don't know, parents? Is it students? Is it managers, cooks, whoever? And how could you reach them? What's the best platform to reach them? And, you know, I started with friends and friends of friends of friends, but maybe you can just go straight professional. And what would be like the right media? Would it be a flyer, a text, a video, like a TikTok video, for example? Yeah. Maybe just think about these things for a minute or so. I'm actually happy to see that we haven't lost our podcast listeners, because for them the you know, interactive part is maybe less informative. Okay, so this was a short minute, but we gotta continue because, you know, the program says until 9, and if you gotta go to your train or something, I don't want to keep you waiting. Step 4 would be talk about it, and I'm actually curious, is anybody here who wants to share their ideas or their project? Like, do you already have something in mind? Go on, be brave, either online or in here.
I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do it? Awesome.
So I'm gonna do graphic design gigs for neighbors, and like each an invitation for an event or flyer or some kind of graphic design job.
Yeah.
You can assign me, and I'm gonna charge 80 francs per design.
Nice. Yeah.
And how I'm gonna distribute it, I'm gonna do like flyers in the neighborhood, pick it up on posters.
Yeah.
And like this is it.
Sounds great. This is exactly the kind of project, you know. I just repeat for the people online. Yeah. Sorry, what's your name? Ben. Yeah. So Ben would do graphic design projects in his neighborhood, advertise his service through flyers, and it would be like around 80 bucks for a design. And yeah, he could design anything from invitations to maybe a brand or something, a little brand. Maybe brand is more like 10,000 bucks, but you know, an invitation would be 80. Yeah. You know, actually you should go to like Lufthansa and redesign their stuff, and then 100,000 goes to Genau, Sea Shepherd. Sounds good. Actually, yeah, what's your charity? Where does it go?
I couldn't figure out yet.
Yeah.
But the links are helpful.
Cool. Cool. So he'll still do his research on the charities where he wants to donate to, or like let people donate to. Cool. So, okay. So Michelle is saying she's thinking about giving workshops or trainings in Zürcher Ressourcenmodell, ZRM, or ZRM. That's a really cool thing. Actually, it's a very interesting workshop where you work on your like goals and subconscious needs and how to link them together. And yeah, those, yeah, if you're trained in this kind of method, for example, you can give workshops for donations. And you know, if a workshop goes for a day, yeah, I said $2,000 to $3,000 for a day's work of workshop. You know, if it's an already pre-designed workshop, because you don't have to reinvent Zeterem, then it's probably a bit less. But you know, if you would give a workshop that you designed, then it's $2,000 to $3,000. That's fair. In Switzerland, I should add, not in wherever. But basically, the rest of the world. I'm trying to say. Cool. Bye bye, Donia. Thanks for joining us. And you gotta go. And then Aaron could do psychological counseling or coaching. But more in a fun way, yeah, to develop personal songs or new lyrics for known songs for a special person or event. That sounds really cool as well. Yeah, for example, a wedding. So Aaron, how much would you charge for a song? 50 to 300 euros. That's lovely. Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, right? If you're confident and if you do some valuable work, you can also charge like a fair price. I usually look what's the industry standard, and then I take off like 10 or 20%, and then it's an even bigger win-win-win for everybody. Because like they save money, but they also do something good. Yeah, cool. Thanks for sharing. And you can keep posting them in the chat if you like. But I'm coming to a conclusion. Okay, actually, Sissy says she could give snowboard lessons for 25 to 30 euro per hour. Fantastic, love it. Love it. Especially in Switzerland, you could charge double and have like customers all day long. Yeah. Okay, so this is a picture. You didn't come this far to only come this far. And this is talking about the future of fundraising. So very quickly only, I plan on founding a student association dedicated to fundraising at the University of Zurich. And if you're interested in getting involved or receiving updates, write me an email. This is my email address. It's private, so please don't abuse it. Any people online or on YouTube who wanna to do trolling or stuff, so yeah, I'm sure that helps if you just ask them not to. Yeah, and so like UZH has a great infrastructure for student associations, and then students could like make a nice logo for fundraising, like whatever explanation video, 2 minutes or something. Give workshops like this one, etc., etc. So I think students could do this work fantastically. And actually, one student I met at Nachhaltigkeitswoche Zürich started his fundraising project with me. So he's programming a fundraising website, and I'll donate to the charity of his choice, the Project Drawdown. So that's really cool. So I'll be donating to that. And yeah, I want a website where you have like a counter on the top, where just all the fundraising efforts are being added. And you can say, hey, the community in 2022 has raised $20,000 or whatever, you know, and can be a global community. And this money can just, yeah, sky's the limit. You know, maybe, you know, have heard of Team Seas or Team Trees. That's like YouTubers who've done this, but like big time. I mean, they're super famous, and they managed to raise 20 and 30 million respectively for reforestation and cleaning up the oceans. So that kind of thing I would like. And yeah, but in general, like the future fundraising is in your hands. Like the idea is out there. I don't own it. You can do with it what you will, as long as you stay true to its spirit, spread it, and have fun with it. And maybe you can advance it. Maybe it's not as good as it could be. Yeah. Actually, Hans, okay, it was not Sissy, but Hans who would give snowboard lessons. Cool. I hope Sissy follows suit. Okay, thank you so much for your kind attention, and enjoy the rest of NHWZ and enjoy fundraising. Wir sind gerade fertig. Danke. Okay, we're being thrown out. Fantastic. So, thank you so much. Thanks for the applause in the online lobby as well. Yeah. Hochlandig.